So I'm going to be doing something a little different this time, and that's going to be doing the recording, like the speaking, as I'm doing it, and then maybe cutting around and just seeing how that works. So today I wanted to do something a little stranger than my other projects. I'm going to be using Yndrasta to make a demon prince. Now, you might be looking at this Yndrasta and say, wow, she is in a sorry state, and you'd be right. I got her pre-built, I tried taking her apart, didn't quite work, but it's fine, because we're going to be ripping her to shreds anyway, because we're turning her into a demon prince of Tzeentch. So the first thing we gotta do is remove all of this Sigmar symbolism. Okay, I'm liking this. Let's just remove the rest of this, or the other half of this part. And then try and remove the Sigmar face shoulder pad, which would be so much easier if this wing wasn't attached. Maybe it's going to be easier to remove now. Oh, I heard a little bit of snapping, but don't think enough. No, okay. So let's just try and clip this off. I'd rather preserve it if I could, but it's unlikely. We're going to want to cover this part up with something else, but I'm liking how this is looking for now. I think nearly everything that I want removed. Let's remove this little bit here, just to further separate out the chest piece. Okay, is there anything we need to remove from the legs? I'd say probably this little thing on the boots. It still very much looks like Yndrasta, so what can I do to kind of mutate her up more? So I decided, since I want the wings to look like they have a purpose, I don't want to replace her legs with something else. If she didn't have wings, it would be okay, but then it wouldn't really be Yndrasta as a Kitbash starter, would it? So let's glue with this attached to her torso again. I also now just noticed that this cloak has Sigmar symbols on it, so we're going to be getting rid of those with some sprue goo. If you don't know, sprue goo is when you put sprue in some glue and it turns into goo. So my sprue goo is a little thicker than I think it should be. So what I'm going to do is just smear this over, and once it's fully dry, we can scrape some of it back and use the other glue to smooth it out. But right now we just need to fill those gaps first and foremost. Nice, pretty good. And we can smooth that out later with like a knife or a file. Let's get into some of the more bashy bashes. First off, I want to try and getting a hand here that's casting, but this hand isn't quite long enough, as you can see. So we're going to take the forearm from a Zangor and do a little bashing. So first we like clip it here. Boop. And then clip it again here. So now we've got an arm that's kind of like pointing forward to cast a spell. And I'm going to let that dry fully. So now we have her with her hand up like this. I think it's looking real good. I guess the main thing now is just getting that other hand in. So to do that, I want to use her actual hand, but take away the sword. Or sorry, take away the hand and the sword. I need to use this upper arm. So with a nice and sharp knife, just find that point and some nice sharp blade, nice clean cut. We lost a bit of the what's it called here, so that's a shame because we're gonna have to lose it off of this now. But we still have most of that sword. It's still usable. And now we want to glue that back into here like this. And you'll see why. There we go. So now she's got her, like, arm mostly in. So we can do this spell book. This book is from the Change Caster kit. It's one of the options. Well, a big part of kitbashing is having patience for stuff to dry, which is like my greatest problem. So I used a little bit of super glue and activator to really lock this in place because I was worried it would just like break off later otherwise. I think what I'm going to do next is get this other wing on just to help with the other posing. Yeah, so now look at this. This is, I'd say, a pretty good basis for a demon prince. Now I got to figure out what demons are up. And by figure out, I mean I've already figured out, which is bird heads. Now the main problem is these bird heads are old metal ones, which means they're very hard to use, and also they're a little oversized. So I'm finally, you know, I've had this idea, but I'm finally like comparing it, and like this is not gonna work. Now there's a few other simpler options, like give chaos head. Don't like it though. I have dryad heads that could always be like, I think I have extra dryad heads. Could always be like turned into, like, here's a skull that could become a cool head. But it's not very Tzeentch-y. Something like this that can like be kind of used as a demon head depending on how it's painted. Let me attach that as well. Something sort of like that. With this, with what was previously vines being fire. That might be a good way to help keep it like more unique. I'm liking that a lot, actually. Let's go with that. But first, we gotta wait for this wing to dry because it is continuously popping off. Okay, so we now have all the wings on, both hands. So now we very much got someone like casting a spell from a spell book. I went and I removed all of the, hold on, let me get it better. I removed all the leaves from here so I can paint it more like fire. So now she will be kind of like, Rah. But I want it up here, which means we need a lot of neck. So in order to get that neck, I'm actually thinking of using another piece of a whatever the Zangor torso and use this upper arm as a neck. It's kind of crazy looking, but it gives her an almost like slightly bird-like look too. And then this one would fit on here. Yep, looks good. So let's do that as well. So there you go, look at that. That's a much more kind of fucked up, demonic looking shape. So yeah, now it's much more of like a screaming demon. Just gonna let that dry as well before adding in any additional details. Okay, so stuff's changed a little bit. I have a different head here. Multiple reasons. One is the other head got kind of fucked up when I was trying to, I realized the neck was too long. It's still a little long, but I kind of like it in a fucked up demon way. But I also like this head. It's also screaming. It's still got a horn, and the horn kind of now points also a little wherever she's going, which I think is kind of cool. You might know she doesn't have tendrils. But that's because I found this. And that's fire. And I think it would be way better if she could have like flaming hair to make her look less like a dryad, or I think this is the face of like whatever the elite's called. It's not actually a dryad. But yes, I want to take this fire to give her flaming hair. Not sure if it'll be up or back, but now if I take this, I can put it like sideways like this to have the flames come out under the head. I like this idea. And I think that'll fit very nicely and easily back there. So I think that helps bring it more into the realm of Tzeentch. Okay, now I'm just going to leave that to dry for a bit. While that's drying, I was thinking of getting this like cool disc thing and putting it on her back to make it almost look like this is like what her wings are emanating from, or like just she has that disc, and make her back silhouette a little different as well. More fire, more Tzeentch. But there's a lot of empty space there, so I'm going to have to really fill it up with goop. We take this little bit of Sprill and put it at the back, we can kind of make a platform for that to come out to like attach to, just so we have to use less sprue goo in the actual like filling of it. So now that fills up a lot of that empty space. And I can now cover that with some goop. And now we've got this like cool disc on her back. Filled up mostly. There's a little bit of a gap there, but I think that's fine, because that makes it look like it's on her back. But it's covering just enough that like it looks like it's attached to her, you know, and not like glued on. So we've got the fire coming out. We got this cool thing on her back, or like the book and this, like it's got the Yndrasta silhouette still, which I want to break up. But otherwise, it's far better in terms of like, that's not Yndrasta. I kept the eagle here because it's pretty Tzeentch, but I'm actually looking at it now, and I don't like the hooked beak. The hooked beak is more Stormcast. So if I just chop it off here, clean it up. So now it's like that flatter, almost stubby beak. That feels a little more Tzeentchy to me. We mostly just now have to figure out this shoulder pad here, and then anything else we want to do to change it, and then the basing. The last thing we have to do right now is figure out this pauldron here. So I thought, what's more Tzeentch than a mouth? This one's nice and flat, but it doesn't quite fit. So then there's this one, which is very bulbous. Too bulbous, but it's the right size. So let's trim that down. Yeah, just like that. Thinking right there. And make it like actually sit on and conform. We're gonna of course use a healthy thing of spruest goois. There we go. So now there's a mouth on our shoulder. If we turn back here, there's a little bit of a gap, so we can just fill that in with some more sprue goo. I'm not gonna wait for it to completely dry before I fill up the rest of that gap. Some more sprue goo. But now she's got a nice mouth on her shoulder, which is very Tzeentch, and helps break up the Yndrasta silhouette even more. Okay, so this is looking pretty good so far. Off camera, I did splay out the wings slightly and add a little bit of chipping, just to help kind of make it look a little more wild and chaotic. But it's a very slight change. It doesn't do much. But we have a few more greebles, and then we can move on to basing. So let's first start with the greebles. So first off, we've got this like bag from the Lord of Change kit. It's got like magic spell components and stuff. I'm thinking we just put that like right in here. Make it look like it's hanging from this belt. Put that on right there. Adds a little more dynamism to the pose, because it's like flowing out. Adds some more like bulk to her. Adds some more Tzeentch stuff. Speaking of Tzeentch stuff, we've got this little symbol of Tzeentch here from a Chaos Space Marines kit of some sort, and I was thinking of finding a place for it. Try on the belt buckle as well. That could be a really good place for it. Also have to check which direction it's supposed to go. Okay, I can't find anything on this, so we're gonna put it the way I think it goes. Oh, that popped off, which is down, because then it'll look more like a 9 and an eyeball, which I think is the intent. I'm gonna put it facing down. If that's wrong, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, we have one final change, which is I was looking at her and I wasn't liking her. Something was wrong. And then I realized it's because she doesn't have a big ol' honkin' pair of horns. So I've got this Bestigor horns from an old kit we had in the basement. And I'm gonna try and just like work that onto her head. Something like that. But first we need to cut away the hair. Something like right there. I think that's probably the way to do it. And then it also covers up that guy, makes it look slightly less like a Sylvaneth head. So now we got that sprue goo. Just get there. Position it how we want. We can fill in the gaps later once this initial layer is dry. But right now we just want that positioning. There we go. So now she's got much more of like a demonic vibe to her. And it helps break up her silhouette even more from Yndrasta. So off screen, I'm going to clean that up. And then we'll get on to basing. So I did the horns, but I don't like it again, and I think I found out or realized what it is. And that's that it's still too human. It's not quite Tzeentch, it's not quite demonic enough, and it's not breaking away enough from Yndrasta. So I'm going to remove this head completely. So no head? And I want to give her a completely different silhouette. And I think one of the things I want to do is make her head just a thing of fire. So one idea is if the fire just like comes straight up like this, like how will that look? I think that looks pretty good and cool. I like that way better. I originally was thinking maybe I could do like a brazier, but then it would look too much like a holy creation in my opinion. But I like this more because I want it to look less and less like a person and more like a complete, you know, crazed entity. And I think the fire in the head helps a lot. So I'm now gonna sit back and let that dry. So as I've kind of gone over a bit, I've really been struggling with this Kitbash, but I think it has finally reached a point that I'm happy with, or that I'm accepting. I won't even say I'm happy with it, but like each individual part I think is good. I like the fire head, I like the maw shoulder, I like the book, and I think the hand was really cool and creative, and I love this like flaming disc that the wings are coming out of, but it just still doesn't feel right to me, and I haven't figured out why. So I'm gonna build the base and see if getting a nice pose up on some rocks that I'll use some cork for helps like really make it come together for me. We've got our cork. And right now we're just gonna do like a really rough kind of staging. Like, I really want her to be, like, up here to fit another demon print so she doesn't look too small. So, I've had a few ideas for this basing, and I think what I kind of want to achieve is her standing above and then underneath summoning something from a portal. I feel like that'll help bring in the magic vibes, it'll help, you know, make her fit a bit more on the base without, like, the huge tactical rock, and it'll help give more dynamism and make it look like she's currently casting a spell. So I think all of that definitely will help. And then this might also be a situation where the paint job is a huge part of making it look good, because right now I'm not sure like what I'm gonna do for it, but if I end up doing like a nice, you know, blue armor with a really nice OSL from the fire head, this tactical rock isn't gonna work with this idea, so let's remove it from her feetsies. And this is going to take a little bit of work, because when I got her, I actually don't know if she has to be glued onto this. I don't remember, because I got her pre-built. So, just have to be careful, say, after making such a reckless cut. And this actually leaves me with an idea. What if having feet is the wrong idea? What if I give her kind of like needle-like, ooh, I don't know, legs. Let's do it. I'm gonna just clip it off. I think I'm gonna go all in on this. I'll show you what I mean. This might help a lot, just because bring her like downside away from Yndrasta as well. Yeah, like it's now got a nice kind of, I don't know, slightly more magic-y look. Let me like continue down with the knife. Let's whittle them down. Go. So I have them pinned in here. And I think that gives them much better kind of basing. And actually that with the feet, I am way more a fan of this. I'm gonna finish this base off with a little bit of texture paste, and then we're gonna start working on that portal and find out a way to do something with that. I have an idea, but I'm not sure yet. So we've got this all done. I'm gonna try the portal, but honestly, if it doesn't work, I'm still liking this. I think you just need something here to be commanded, or like a magic spell. So let's try the portal. Now for the portal, I have a very interesting idea that might not work. That involves a hot glue gun. But yeah, so now that this is on this like top, I'm feeling much more confident about it. There's something about how she was just sitting on the ground I didn't like, but now she looks very epic. She doesn't quite look like Yndrasta anymore. It's very commanding. The idea of something here like really is going to improve. So yeah, I am far happier with how she has turned out now. So it's now ready, and I grabbed a piece of parchment paper to make it flatter and easier to remove. So now we're just gonna and then before it dries, wet a finger, pat it down, wet a finger more than I did so that you don't burn yourself. Let it kind of, you can make a more kind of like a Rick and Morty circle one, but I kind of like the idea of this messy one. Okay. And then let it cool down before you put it anywhere. We now have this portal. And I put a pin in it. So I am going to be painting this. So I don't care if it stays clear or not. It's going to get primed. So I pinned this because I want it to kind of sit like right here. Or maybe like here. And I want it to stay in. So maybe this pin will go through this rock or something. Let me try. Like I'll need to drill into the base. But like that looks pretty good, right? And then I have a bit that I've been trying to figure out what to use it for. Because like this is a portal. What's she summoning? Bop. Word of Change head coming through. If I shave off these bits, and it can glue in really nicely to. Let's flatten out this. This would also be, it would be really nice and good to glue this together with UV resin to fill in the gaps and make it look like it's kind of connecting. And now that I think about it, I have a big thing of Uhu glue. That may have been easier than the hot glue, but you know, the more I think about it, whatever. So what I'm going to do now is just super glue that on. Then I'm also going to take out the Uhu. And I'm going to, God, why is Uhu like this? Just glue around the edge here for extra support and to help blend it in. Because once it's all primed, you won't really be able to see that it's like a different material. It'll just look like the portal is kind of stretching with it. And now, we have a portal with a Lord of Change head coming out of it. And here it is. I don't think I'm going to be painting him or her in this video. I feel like this has been an on and off struggle so much, and I really just want to start getting this video out. If you guys want me to paint her, I will make a paint video for her. My current thoughts, just so you know, I'm thinking of like silver dry brushing her and then doing kind of contrast paint to give her a bluey gold armor, and then like glowing maybe pink fire, because I really like the pink fire for the head. Same one I used my Magnus, as you can see on my socials. Wings, I could go for a couple of things. I could try out a galaxy pattern. I could go for like my Cinder Coven build design where it's like bluish purple wings into black burnt and then like kind of smoldery cinders at the very edge. I could do all of those. I mean, the cinders would match her head, so maybe it would be like pink cinders, which might not read quite as cinders, but make it work. But yeah. Let's get on to the glamour shots. you so much for watching, everyone. I've been Yndrasta, and that was my Demon Prince of Tzeentch Kitbash using Yndrasta. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as you can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord if you want to be with other like-minded kitbashers, painters, and wargamers. Thank you so much again.